Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my house.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
I would like to welcome Cheyenne McPherson and Dylan Meyer today to Laura from the Bruderhof. And I invited them over to my house because I just want to chat with them and find out what they're up to, introduce them to you. Anyway, so Cheyenne, you want to just start off, tell a bit about yourself. You can sip coffee in between. It's allowed in my house. Anyway, go for it.
Alright, I'm Cheyenne McPherson, and I live at the Foxhill Bruderhof. I'd recently finished studies at the University of Pittsburgh.
Nice. What were you studying?
History and English literature.
Awesome.
But I'm very glad to be done.
Okay.
Because I enjoy the hanging out with people more than academics.
How about you, Dylan? What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I'm still a student at the University of Pittsburgh. I'm doing online classes at the moment. Well, I'll be starting in the summer semester just to finish off my degree.
Nice.
And otherwise, I work on our IT management and systems team in the Foxhill Bruderhof as well.
Nice.
And as far as like hobbies and stuff, I love to do. I love playing sports, soccer, football.
Okay. Nice.
Doing stuff outside, biking, hiking.
You were talking about fishing before.
Yes, I do. I have tried my hand at striper fishing this past spring, and
How's that been
I've
going?
had zero luck. It's been fun. Like, what makes striper fishing a lot of fun is the company you have on the side of the river. I think that's
True.
why I go striper fishing, because
Okay. I would agree with you.
Yeah, I have no faith in myself ever catching one. And if you start at that point, you can never fail. And so you go and you have some good drinks and some good food and company, and you hang out beside the river and hope that you might catch a herring. I've caught 2 herrings so
that's
far.
Great. Well, listen, that's at least a start.
Yeah, it's a start.
It's a start.
And at least we could chuck some chunk out in the middle of the river and hope that a striper would bite, but they never did.
So you were talking about your degree. What are you actually studying?
Oh yeah, so my degree is it's a politics and philosophy major.
Oh, wow.
With economics as a minor, and
Okay.
so I like you asked Cheyenne, the automatic question is, well, what are you going to use that for?
Okay.
And
so what are you going to use
exactly.
it for?
Like I mean, it has nothing to do with IT systems and management, but as maybe people are familiar with our communities, our job descriptions change very rapidly, and we evolve and do many different jobs, and within a year I could be running our spray system in one of our manufacturing plants. So I mean, the degree is useful for it outside of our communities. It's normally used as a stepping stone towards like a law degree or business management and stuff like that.
All right, so you mentioned your youth group. I'd be very curious to know, apart from the Princess Bride play, like what else are you guys into? What else are you guys doing? Or
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Cheyenne, I want to hear a little more from Cheyenne, you know?
It's
Very
rare that she's
quiet
just quiet.
Okay, well,
So we just love hanging out, so we do that a lot of the time. Be it just a campfire randomly organized in the evening, and we'll sing or we'll just chat till 11 p.m. And otherwise, we do a weekly Zoom discussion,
cool.
which is open to any young people from around the world who are interested. They sign up through our Bruderhof website.
Okay.
But Dylan and I both host that.
Oh, cool,
And then
cool. Wow, I feel so lucky that you're both here. So cool.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
But then we're joined by other young people from Foxhill, and we just basically continue our campfire discussions through Zoom with other people joining in.
That's great.
Which has been really positive.
That's so fun. What kinds of things do you talk about? Like, do you talk about the Bible, or do you talk about like Bruderhof, or what do you sort of focus on, or is it like a whole range of stuff?
Well, because we want to hear from people that are not necessarily Christians, or like people come to our website who are not like don't have a lot in common with us, but what they come seeking a lot of the time is community, is connecting with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want too. We want to connect with other people, find out what they're thinking, what experiences they've had.
Yeah.
So our theme kind of so far has been community.
Okay.
Both intentional and I have discussed unintentional community, which I've never thought of before.
That's pretty interesting.
But
We're having pretty unintentional close community.
Very unintentional.
We like tried to squeeze onto the camera. Okay, anyway.
Very communal. But we mostly just end up discussing whatever people who are attending want to discuss.
Cool.
So in one situation, that's been the idea of community of goods. And one young man who was attending was like, wouldn't it be more beneficial to, if you were able to accrue wealth, and then be able to help out those in need? So we had a fascinating discussion on that.
That's so cool.
And the morality of poverty.
Right.
Kind of the
We actually were just talking about that in our members meeting last night.
Oh, really?
I actually was not. I was watching the kids down here,
Okay.
but yeah, they talked about it. I had a really good discussion because we have a couple people who are seeking to become members, and so they were asking their questions. And what I appreciate about it, and this probably happens within your discussions, is you sort of come to new convictions or realize what other people are thinking about. Like, are you guys members, or where are you at?
Yeah, I'm a member.
So you're both members.
And what's
Cool.
interesting is our discussion from last week. We touched on straight speaking to each other, as we like to say on the Bruderhof here, and that's essentially like, if you have a problem or a concern with someone else, you go and speak directly to them rather than going and talking about it with somebody else or gossiping about them.
Yeah. Oh, it's so hard
It's
though.
really,
I'm not.
really
I-
hard.
Well,
Yeah.
when you put your mind to it, it's like really tough.
It's really hard, but like the conversation was fantastic because the one man who was joining us from California, just brought such a new perspective to it from
Okay.
his own church and his own life out there, and it just made me realize like how important it is to maintain like a cohesive community and a functioning community, to be able to do that, but to do it in such a way that it's not like judgmental or that it's compassionate and comes from a place of love and thoughtfulness towards the other person.
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting discussion from last week, and
That's so cool.
yeah, we've also talked about like the role of faith. Like it's very like, well, we are interested in anyone is welcome from whatever walk of faith or anything, any persuasion, they are welcome. But we have had discussions about the role of faith in community because I think quite importantly, it's very hard to have community without faith, without that,
some kind of a base,
without
right?
that base, because a community based on pure economics or family ties or just kind feelings towards each other is never going to last.
Yeah.
Because we're human and we're going to have run-ins and we're going to get mad at each other, and there has to be something that we can kind of work ourselves back to, to the faith, to, in our case it's Jesus, and to get ourselves back to that and be like, well, you know what, we have our difference of opinion, but ultimately we have Christ, and that's who we're living for.
Yeah, and trusting each other, and that's very important.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed meeting Cheyenne and Dylan, and maybe they'll come on again, and if you want to see them again, go check out their Zoom. What days do you have?
Thursday evenings at 7:30.
Great.
Please join us. It'd be great to see you.
Maybe I should join you one time too. That'd be
You'd
a
be
lot of
more
fun.
than welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see you all next time, and enjoy the spring if you're in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, just keep enjoying those fall leaves.
Not.